I think I'm in the middle of something. There's really no need to...
Oh, hey kids out there, if you're gonna die, don't die with your mouth open, okay? Don't die with your mouth open, because it'll come back to bite you in the ass. Hey, how you doing? This is Patrick Fabian. I play Howard Hamlin on Better Caul Saul.
Hi, I'm Bob Odenkirk. I play Jimmy McGill / Saul Goodman.
I'm Rhea Seehorn, and I play Kim Wexler.
Hi, I'm Tony Dalton. I play Lalo Salamanca.
I'm Thomas Schnauz, and I directed and wrote the Better Caul Saul episode, Plan and Execution.
And this is Variety's Making a Scene.
I thought you did it for the money, but now it's so clear. Screw the money. You did it for fun. You get off on it.
We knew something bad was going to happen in Jimmy and Kim's world. We just didn't know what, whether they were going to mess up somehow in their plan or Howard was going to catch them in something. But then as we went on with the season, we thought colliding the cartel world and the legal / scam world just felt like the right thing to do.
I found out actually before season 6 began. Peter Gould and Vince Gilligan and Melissa Bernstein, the 3 producers, called me before the season began. Now, if you're an actor out there, guess what call you don't want to get before you're going to work? Yeah, it's that call. But the thing is, they called me to just say, so we've come up with a really cool thing for Howard, but what it means is that we're probably not going to need your services past August this season.
Once the writers knew, I was not part of the call that Patrick got, and he asked who was doing it, and he heard it was me. So he said he was happy about that.
Oh my gosh, I'm actually thanking Thomas Schnauz for killing me. Oh, that sounds like it. Thank you, Tom.
Patrick and I are good friends, and I'm glad I got to do what is essentially a Howard Hamlin episode.
Obviously, they wanted to keep this as hush-hush as possible, so I forgot about it. And I've spent 6 seasons not telling my wife or family or friends what's going on in the show. I only talk about the show with the people on the show. But even in this case, I didn't tell anybody in the show either. I would get the scripts and I would be like, shh, no, not this week. And I started to think, well, maybe they changed their minds. Maybe in the writer's room, they're like, you know what? We've got something better for Howard. Maybe he's going to go do this or that. I think it's just denial. It's actor denial. I open up episode 607. By this point, wardrobe knew, property knew. People around the set are just like, hey, man, sorry. So I knew it was coming down. And then Ray and Bob read it.
I assumed it's going to be very dangerous if Lalo is showing up and putting a silencer on a gun. But then mid-line, when it just says PFFFT, and it's him, I was like, and I think Bob was upstairs, and I think I was in the kitchen. I was like, did you read it? Did you read this?
And they called Vince. They're like, did Patrick get this yet? And they're like, oh yeah, he's known for 6 months.
Patrick was so convincing in not telling us that I thought that it was possible he didn't know it was coming and called Peter frantically. And I was like, I don't think Patrick knows. Does he know this is coming out? Peter's like, I definitely told him. And I was convinced that he wasn't told. So it was a big surprise to me.
And then I read the episode, and of course, that great scene at the end with Jimmy and Kim in their apartment. And then I turn the page and it says Lalo enters. And I go, huh? And then literally a half page later, he's the only one left speaking, saying, let's talk. And it hit me. It took my breath away.
I was kind of just off on the sidelines in the first half of the last season. So to just kind of jump in there and go into their apartment and shoot Howard in the head was like, wow, it's insane.
Frankly, I've been waiting for this scene for a while. I think that Jimmy and Kim have been pulling these pranks, especially regarding Howard, for a while. There's always consequences in this world of Breaking Bad and Better Caul Saul. And I've been waiting and hoping and wanting there to be consequences for these characters.
All right, you're too tight to drive. I'm calling you.
Oh, good. Phony compassion. No, very, very believable, but I'm far from done.
Oh, no. You are done, Howard. Sorry, but you need to stop this now, and you need to go home.
The way I worked on it was first by taking it in chunks. I sit down with a yellow legal pad, and I would write it all out. That's the first thing I do. And then I go back to the other script as well, because I want to write on it. Ideas, symbols, and you circle stuff and underline stuff, questions about where does this come from, what's going on. And so we would rehearse loosely lines, ideas. We discuss things. We had some ideas. So when we come to play in front of Tom or whatever director, we have something to show them.
I certainly ran lines with Patrick quite a bit for his monologue because we were in the house together. But then we had rehearsals with Tom to figure out the blocking.
This is an involved scene, a lot of feelings in it, a lot of lines in it, a lot of characters' brains moving, very fast.
There's a bit of a game going on. First, they're going to play like they don't know what he's talking about. And then Jimmy can't help himself but to say, well, Howard, it's not that bad. You didn't lose everything. But they're kind of letting him take the stage. Kim then starts doubling down, and you see her hatred of him and what she thinks he represents. And there's no conscience going on of maybe he's right and maybe he didn't deserve all of this, and like completely missing the point that she deserves it.
Believe it. You can't hide who you really are forever.
Bob's great reaction on his face of seeing Lalo, the ghost, the person who he thought was dead, walk through the door.
Kim has lied about him being alive, and she's aware that to Jimmy, this is a double shock.
Lalo could care less. I mean, he's done this 1,000 times. In this case, everybody who's watching is emotionally attached to the character, but I mean, for Lalo, it's not. He's just like, I don't know who this guy is. Shoots him and then says, "Okay, now that you know I'm serious, let's get to it."
As a director, I had all these different shots. Bob's eyeball, I had him close his eye and open it in the light so his pupil would contract, and I did all these other different angles, and I spent all this time with Skip McDonald in the editing room trying to make it work, and it just was not working. And we found that the simpler version, where it's just the shadow coming in behind Patrick Fabian, and Bob's reaction was enough to sell the fear, and I didn't need all the trickery.
I think I'm in the middle of something. There's really no need to...
We probably didn't rehearse the gunshot at all. And the reason for that is that's the kind of thing you want to experience in the moment.
We wanted it to be a little bit messy and not exactly a glossy type of cinematic reaction, because we really wanted to hammer home that these need to be people that have not seen that kind of violence. Someone's head being blown off right in front of you, it needed to be utterly shocking and not something, and a world break, for Kim, that, oh my God, this is happening. His body at her feet is the embodiment of guilt and the conscience that she has been saying keeps sneaking up on her when she talks about being followed.
It's only when he got into the Patrick dropping to the floor, because we had to do a whole rig, a safety rig. It's the same rig we did on Michael McKean when he hit his head in the copy shop. It's just, you want him to fall and hit safe, make it look like he's really banging his head, but he doesn't. So there's that part gets time consuming.
They moved the couches and the table. They put a pad down. And the first couple of times I would just fall out of frame. We would time it, we had somebody off stage with, 2x4s that would do the shot. So I would sense him coming up. We'd start to work on the timing of what that was. He says a line, the gun comes up, boom, and I fall out of frame. And then, then all the blood people come in. They love, spraying the blood on the wall. That's a whole thing. Special effects making that work. And then they harnessed me up for the hitting the table. And what they do is they put you in a harness, and then you put your suit on, and the harness takes all of your weight. And then Properties recreated the table with a sponge and soft. They made it all like rubbery. They painted it meticulously so it looks like that, and they put all the props back and everything else. And then they had the camera lined up, so my head's just coming into frame, and they're like, it's gonna go like this. So I'm coming down, but they're gonna have a sound effect. So what it really is my head ricocheting off is what makes people lurch. It's the sound of my neck going and then pounding off. So we did it like 3 or 4 times. And then then Tom's like, I don't want you to hurt your head anymore, like any dummy actor. I'm like, no, I'll hit my head all night long. And I would, but they had it. And then the roll, they put the camera down on the ground, right? And it's a POV of that. And so that starts from me just pretending that my head is there, and then we had worked it back and backwards, you know. I got to the spot they needed me to be with the eyes looking at the camera. Oh, hey kids out there, if you're gonna die, don't die with your mouth open, okay? Don't die with your mouth open, because it'll come back to bite you in the ass. So I'm dying with my mouth open. And then we reverse it. Click, 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 click. 3, 2, 1, action. Unspool. And we did that. We did it a bunch of times, and then then you get that great direction, that great heartfelt direction where Tom's like, yeah, eyes are too open. No, look more dead. Okay, get that mouth open a little bit more. That sort of stuff. Yeah.
Oh my God! No! Oh my God! No!
We have fun on sets, and we've done plenty of serious scenes where you got to blow off steam sometimes, and you're cracking jokes backstage. But this was a goodbye to a close friend of ours and a beloved character.
It's very somber because it's also Patrick's last scene, and he's been in the series for the whole run. So, everybody's very quiet and very, very respectful.
The crew all stood, very, very close by and was very sensitive when coming in for resets and everything, that this is one of our family who's going.
It's a group of people who really love each other, but we play some characters who torture each other. I love everyone in this show and the opportunity it gave all of us to show what we could do.
If you got to go, wow, what they wrote for him to go. And I was excited about watching that work and excited that we could all be with him on his last shooting day.
We've spent so much time together. We've been through such an experience together in our careers and in our personal lives. And we are shocked and impacted when one of our characters is dismissed.
No, I didn't get to keep the suits. The reason probably is because I think Sony probably paid more for those suits than they did for the guy in them.